Welcome to the 128th broadcast of the T-ROH show. It's your host, Keith. I got John with me.
Good morning, folks. This is John.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing we clarified that. All right. So what we can do is this. Today, the theme for the 128th broadcast of the T-ROH show is setting boundaries. People don't really realize how setting boundaries is important and how important it is. And I'll just give you an example. If someone were to walk into your home, just walk right in the front door, pat your wife on the butt, go into your refrigerator, start eating food, and watching TV, what do you think you're going to do with that? Someone's going to have a hard time, especially if they're not invited. They just walk right in, do all that stuff. Those are people with they're called no boundaries. Okay? Now, if somebody breaks in the home, that's a life and death decision. So that's how important boundaries are. In other words, if someone just busts in your door, you can shoot them to stop them. I'm not saying you have to kill them. You can hit their legs, but you can shoot them. So if somebody just walks in your door, that's called a trespass. They're trespassing. So everybody knows that there's two specific things. One would be either misdemeanor felony or you can shoot them, which would kill them. It's a life and death decision to do that. That's how important boundaries are. So let's go to the extreme. Okay, let's go to the national side of it, and we'll start talking about some boundaries here that a lot of people don't realize. Okay, we've been hitting there's been some people, all kinds of websites claiming that the government of the United States of America is a corporation. Okay, now that's defined as a trespass because the people that signed the social compact and defined it as to what it is, are the ones that make that decision. If you're not a party to it, you don't have any say whatsoever as to what it is. You can't define it. You can't say, "Oh, that's corporation." That's called a trespass. Then they come in and try to rename it. The United States of America 1781. Well, that's just a website because we couldn't get the United States of America.com. So we just put 1781 at the end of it. That's just a website. That's not the name of the country. The name of the country is the United States of America. That came from the 1781, the original Articles of Confederation. So anyone claiming that, oh, it's just a corporation and you have not signed the social compact or signed the amended Articles of Confederation, you have no say in it, period. Your word means absolutely nothing. It has no standing whatsoever anywhere in the world, because the people who signed that are the ones that are party to it, and they're the ones that define it, not you, the outsiders, the inhabitants. They don't get to do that. Okay? So what you have here is a lot of trespasses. There are a lot. And I mean, it's been going on how long, John? 4 or 5 years?
It's been going on ever since I've been here, and I started in 2011.
Yeah, people saying this and claiming that.
Yep.
And have been trespassing for quite a long time. And we haven't really said anything because they don't really understand what they're doing, but that time is over. That time's over. So if you're not a party to The Articles of Confederation as amended 2015. And if you are not a part of the social compact that reclaimed it, and how long did we wait, John? 6 months?
It was well over 6 months.
We even tried to sell it once, and then we tried to give it away, and nobody wanted it.
We put it up for sale twice.
Mm-hmm.
Put it up for sale once, then they lowered the price, and then tried to give it away. Nobody wanted it.
Right.
So I don't see where they got an argument about what we do with it.
Until they figured out it was the original country.
Yep.
3 years later, once their research came forward, then all of a sudden, oh, well, no, that's ours now. No, it's over. That claim's over. That time for objection, over. You don't have that anymore. So you can come in as a resident and go right into the States of the Union if you want. That process, if you're not a party to that process, in other words, if you didn't create the process as a signatory, you have no right to change it. You have no right to criticize it. You have no right to do anything. You're not a party to it. If you don't like the way it is, oh well. It's set up to where the government of the United States of America is not trafficking in persons. It also is set up to where the person who's making the claim to their person, the man or woman making a claim to their person, is legally covered in doing so. In other words, before you do a resident declaration, you really don't have any say over your person at all. You don't have any social compact. You're not part of anything. You're an inhabitant, and you don't really have much say in it. But when you claim it and it's delivered to you, then you have some say under a social compact. That's how important it is. That's how the attorneys were able to just come in and just name you as trustor. Here, you're going to give to us. You're going to donate to us. In every court case. At the end of this, I'm going to show everybody how to win a court case in less than 10 seconds. It's going to be so easy. Once you understand how powerful the social compact is. We want to bring some other things in. Political parties in this country, people that call themselves political parties, are actually 527 organizations, that they've hijacked everything. I don't know if anybody's realized that. Give you an example. People voting on party lines. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not how that works, because political parties were just to be there for the, let's set a boundary, there for the elections. I'm a part of this political party because I agree with what they believe in, their platform. Or I'm a part of this political party because I agree with that platform. So it gives you some choice. That's how it's normally supposed to go. Then those political parties run their elections. When they get in their office, they're supposed to take an oath. That oath overrides any political party rhetoric. In other words, the political parties, after the elections, shut down, and the people that are in there have to uphold their oath to whatever constitution they took an oath to. Their personal feelings have no standing whatsoever. Nobody cares about what you feel. Nobody cares about your own personal, well, I feel this. Don't give a crap about how you feel. Is what you're doing upholding your oath or not? That's basically it. How you feel, if you're this or you're that, and blah, blah, blah. How many people have got their personal feelings involved, and how many unelected political party members are actually running things? See, Hillary's still running things. She's not even elected. She's still running stuff over there. Her, Bill, all of them, Obama, they're all still running stuff. Same thing with the Republican. They do the same thing because they're both 527 corporations. And those 527 corporations have hijacked the offices, not allowing anybody to get to the office, not serving anybody that they say they're serving. They're not serving any representatives with any people they're representing whatsoever. They're running along party lines. And they've been talking this little rhetoric over and over again for a while, getting everybody set up for what? A communist and socialist party. That's how they're doing it. Because the communist and socialist parties, the parties run everything. They hijack everything. And if you're not going along with the party lines and what the high office in the party says, then you're out. You have nothing to do with any form of government. That's how it works. And they have everybody conditioned for this. It's all conditioning. I was reading an article the other day about abortion. And come to find out, abortion was never constitutional. It was never a constitutional right, the way the wording was written. I just read it this morning. I don't have it but in front of me, but I read it this morning. That was constitutional. But it was party lines that did it. Unelected people. The bankers that bought them, that buy the 527 organizations. The billionaires that got along with the bankers, and we're going to go along with what we want. So we're going to do some population control here. So we're going to hijack the parties, and the parties are going to hijack everything else, and you're going to do what we want. That's unelected people. It leaves the people right out in the cold themselves. Basically have zero say in anything. It's because the political parties hijacked everything.
Yeah, that's when lobbyists come in. That's when they go into a back room back here and lock the door and pay the politician to do what they want done.
Mm-hmm.
That's your unelected people, company, whatever, coming in the back door and buying your politicians. And they have been bought daily.
They're buying access to the hijack of the office. That's what's happening. They're buying access to the hijack of the office. When we bring up the North American National Party, John, when does it come up? It's when we have elections. That's it.
That's right. That's the only time we bring it up.
It never comes up any other time, folks. We don't discuss politics as far as that's concerned at all. It's the oath to the office is what takes precedence. Doesn't matter if it was called North American National Party or whatever you wanted to call it. It has no say once that oath is taken, no matter what happens. Zero say in it. So these parties have come in as 527 corporations, hijacked everything, and then people buy access to the hijack. That's how it operates. And that recipe is going to fall. Let's get to the border issue. Okay. Let me see what we got. Here we go. All right. Here was Donald Trump. He says, all people that are illegally coming into the United States now will be removed from our country at a later date as we build up our removal forces and as the laws are changed. Please do not make yourselves too comfortable. You will be leaving soon. And then here's a anarchist that has basically no say in anything. Removal forces should send a chill down everyone's spine. You're an anarchist. You don't even give a crap. So go away and shut up. This right here, okay, he believes in it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not even cutting him down for it. think it's a great thing. Get those people out of here, and because they're trespassing. And they have no problem for some reason to trespass. They somehow believe it's a right to just trespass on somebody. Walk right into their private property. There's a lot of private property owners down the southern border. They just walk right in. No problem. It's called sabotaging yourself for political gain. However, what's going to happen if this guy is no longer in office? What's going to happen is, because the political parties have hijacked everything and they don't uphold their oaths anymore, they just go along party lines. Their oaths don't mean anything to them. They wait to get rid of this guy, meaning Trump, and then they just reverse it anyways. That's what happens when you have political parties hijacking things. They're hijacking an office based on their personal feelings, or how they look, or how they appear. And I've always wondered, who gave the United States the authority of the metes and bounds anyways? I've always wondered that myself. I'm sure there's some kind of commerce clause in there when you go over the lines or some crap, but it's still can't figure that out, how they got direct control over it and how it became their responsibility. That could be my own ignorance. I don't know. Either way, you do not put the borders and boundaries in the hands of political parties. Politics changes as quickly as you change your underwear every day. So people can see what's going on. Their oaths, in other words, you shouldn't hear anything about Democrats and hear anything about Republicans on a daily basis at all. Because once those people get in office, their oath takes over. And they look at the other political party members and say, I don't want to hear it. Shut up. Go away. If you're violating, I'm not going to violate my oath for you. But people in there don't have any nuts. They just go along because that's what they were taught. Same thing comes to this government too, and goes into the states. They do the same thing. And that's where they go down. In other words, that's where they fail. They come in and they start hijacking an office, or they don't do their job. They don't take their oath seriously. Their personal feelings get involved, and then they fall. How many times did that happen, John? About 80?
At least 80.
At least 80.
Yeah.
At least 80 times.
About 3 times a year.
Because that's what they see the Republican 527 and the Democrat 527 doing all the time. So they think that that's how things are supposed to work. And when they do, they get themselves in trouble. And then start claiming victim. And every single time, who becomes the dictator, John?
Whoever they happen to point their finger at that time. Generally me or you.
Me, you, anybody else. Could be Tom, could be anybody. They got to point the finger at somebody.
Yep. Not at themselves.
No.
At somebody else.
No. Don't ever. No. It's not their fault. Ever their fault.
That's right.
They're a product of their society, of their perceived society. How's that? What they perceive is there. What they've been watching for a long time. And they don't realize that when they take that oath, their personal feelings mean nothing. Zip, zero, nothing. It's upholding your oath and doing what you said you were going to do. We'll give you an example. Another example. How's that? Okay, you have these people here. I don't even know how to pronounce their names: Rashida and Omar and Acacia. Inhabitants. That's what they are. They don't. They're not a part of any social compact, so they're inhabitants under Section 213 of the Law of Nations. Of not representing a constituency within the 527 organization known as the Democratic Party. Both of the accused have been displaying a patterns and practices discipline on behalf of a nation of Islam since taking office within the United States Inc., also known as the company corporation. Charging instrument below. Okay, here's the charging instrument there. Women in politics contradicted Islam, they said. Okay, people have to understand how Islam operates. It's the hadiths that are the important. That's called political Islam. Okay, you have 3 different books, and you can go learn about this online. Okay, and what's really going on. So one of the 6 major hadith collections in Sunni Islam says those who entrust their affairs to a woman will never know prosperity, according to Fatima whatever source. Okay, and there's this increasing number of Muslim women in politics. Okay, now the hadith is the more important part that takes over. Okay, in political Islam. So since a woman has to be escorted everywhere, according to the hadith, and she goes under the hadith, the accused are nothing more than an extension of the imams that have invaded North America. Now, what do I mean by invaded North America? Imamsofamerica.org, a federation of imams. Hold on one second. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I really don't even care. Okay? North American Imams Federation. Who in the hell in this country invited these guys in? They have no business here. This is not a Muslim country. This is not an Islamic country. It's not under Sharia law and never will be. Okay? So who invited them here? North American Imams Federation. They're invaders. No one invited them. So the 2 women that were in so-called the U.S. House of Representatives, nothing more than an extension of these guys. Because according to their law, women can't hold office. That's just the way it works. And according to the hadith, regardless of what's being said on the internet. They're saying that because people don't understand how it operates. So they think, oh, well, they allow women, so women have rights there. No, they don't. They never will.
Islam doesn't have a social compact with this country either.
No, they don't.
So where do they think they get their authority to speak for it?
Or to even come in and start their organizations and crap and start talking about their religion. And where do they get religious rights here in this country when no one has given it to them in any way, shape, or form? And the reason is because they don't allow other religions.
Yep.
So that's the way it operates. That's an invasive force. That's called invasion, means not invited. Nobody invited these people here. Okay? This was following our quotes made by the accused. We're going to show you what's going on here. During a House Foreign Affairs Committee hearing on Wednesday, Omar fiercely grilled Donald Trump's Venezuela envoy Elliot Abrams over his support for U.S.-backed massacres and genocides in Latin America throughout the 1980s, as well as his role in the Iran-Contra scandal. All right, what's that have to do with the people that she supposedly represents, in Minnesota? What do they care about what happened back then? They don't. So who's she representing? Oh, that would be the imams in CARE. Minnesota Congresswoman went on to recount the horrific details of the El Mazate, whatever you want to call it, massacre, in which the U.S. trained Salvadoran soldiers raped and murdered more than 800 civilians. Oh, I'm sorry, that was the Salvadorian soldiers that did that, including many women and children. She was immediately applauded by progressive anti-war activists that aren't a part of any social compact, by the way, whatsoever, and commentators for her persistent interrogation of Abrams, who the Intercept's Jeremy Scahill, recently described as an unrepentant war criminal who played a central role in the mass slaughter of tens of thousands of people throughout Latin America during his tenure in the Reagan State Department. Okay. If you have, lady, all right, Missy, if you have an issue with this does not belong there. If you have an issue with what's going on. If the imams have an issue with what happened there in South America, that's not the place to do it. You don't go in and hijack an office on behalf of foreign imams. It doesn't work that way. She said she trivialized the deadliest terrorist attack in U.S. history in recent speech gave to an event for the Council on American Islamic Relations, that's CARE, which the United Arab Emirates has designated as a terrorist organization. And they're correct. It is a terrorist organization. It works directly with the Muslim Brotherhood. That is a terrorist organization. Okay? When speaking about the 9/11 terror attacks, which killed approximately 30,000 American citizens. Well, actually, it was American inhabitants, but that's what they want to call it. That's just in name only, by the way. Omar described the attacks as some people did something. She was very arrogant about it. So why, if she's supposed to be representing some people in Minnesota, why is she having a meeting with a well-known terrorist organization? Okay, on Sunday afternoon, after Hamas had launched hundreds of rockets indiscriminately at Israel and murdered Israelis while wounding scores of other Israelis, anti-Semitic Omar attacked Israel once again, blaming Israel for shooting protesters and insisting that Israel was occupying Gaza. Okay, do the voters in Minnesota give a flying flip about Gaza right now? No, they don't. What they're trying to do is get jobs and work on their economy within their districts and things like that. They're just trying to help themselves and do what they can do. So guess what? The people in her district are not represented whatsoever. She doesn't represent them. She represents CARE, the imams, and Hamas in Palestine. That's who she represents.
And the Democratic Party.
So she's violated her oath about 15 freaking times. Based on this. So this is what they're actually doing. Okay, this is what the imams figured out in America. In common law, also known as judicial precedent or judge-made law or case law, is that body of law which derived from judicial decisions of courts and similar tribunals. So the House of Representatives, the U.S. House of Representatives, a private company, have claimed on many occasions to possess judicial authority through its corporate media. Haven't they been saying that they're going to subpoena people?
That they have.
And that you're going to be held in contempt?
Yep.
So that means you claim to have judicial authority. So what's Omar doing? She's going in and she's setting up war crimes against the U.S. military and Trump. That's how they're trying to get him.
Yep. That would also include all the people over here in the U.S. United States of America.
Right. The accused are on behalf of the imam invaders, which, like I said, they're not supposed to be here. Nobody really gives a flying flip about them. They just kind of showed up. Have everybody noticed that? They just kind of showed up. It's like, who the hell are you guys? Council on American Islamic Relations, they have nothing to do, no reason to be here. None whatsoever. Hamas, Islam, and many other terrorist groups, and hereby setting a precedence of war crimes. Okay? Israel and others not representing the people. So what is she actually doing? She's trying to get Israel back for Islam. That's what she's doing. She's representing Islam. So if she can get over here and get war crimes on people, and get war crimes on Israel, she can get rid of the key people out of there and break that tie between U.S. and Israel. And now the Hamas is not going to get bombed anymore. because the U.S. is supplying arms to Israel, and they can take over and wipe them out. That's the plan. That's what they're doing. So, is she a part of the U.S. House of Representatives? No, not even close. She's a foreigner. She has no business there. Guaranteed that the military and Trump did not see that coming. That she's trying to set up a common law precedent against them judicially and trying to nail him for war crimes while ignoring the war crimes that Islam has been doing for the last 1400 or 700 years. It's about 700 years, I think.
About 700 that they've been, yeah.
Yeah. Which it would take us 40 years just to come up with all of the war crimes that they've committed. That's how long it would take anybody's lifetime to figure it all out. All the war crimes that were committed. So it's kind of pot kettle, wouldn't you think?
Kind of appears that way.
Yeah. So she went to war along with these other two, which was Rashida and then Ocasio. They went to war as so-called representatives against their own oath. They declared war on behalf of a foreign nation and against their own oath. That's how it works. I don't know how else to put that. They went at war with the imams. There was like 36 of them here, guys, in the country that are openly saying, kill everybody that's not Muslim. Openly saying that. If you don't believe me, go on the internet, find it. You'll find it easy. Just put in imams and then put videos out and stuff. It's all over YouTube. It's everywhere. Openly saying, kill everybody. Murder, kill, murder, kill. They're all saying it. One in Tennessee is the biggest one. They all work together. They have over 70 of their people, their militants, holding offices everywhere. It's a front. They're not holding any office. It's a front. They don't even qualify for it. I'm talking about in the States. It's happening every day. And it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And they're spreading out further and further. The woman is sitting there doing it, talking to CARE, a terrorist group, and the chick ain't even freaking arrested. Setting up a precedence against the U.S. military. U.S. military is sitting there dumbfounded. I don't know what they're doing. That's how they did it in all the European countries. They got into all the offices, set up common law precedents against all the office holders, and they're moving everybody out. They did it there, and they're doing it here. However, the government of the United States of America is standing in their way. That's just what's happening. And also the 15 national governments that are standing in their way, and all the American nationals that were smart enough to get past all of the rhetoric that this was some kind of corporation, that were smart enough to get through, that came through and realized after about 6 months that it was nothing like they were being told. Nothing. And believe me, we keep extensive records on everything that happens. Emails, everything. It's all categorized and it's all filed. Because we get these kind of people that come in. We even had some people call it a trust. Oh, it's a trust in there. You have no say. That's a trespass. You have no say. You're not a part of it. You can't define it. Go away. Be quiet. None of your business. Consistent trespasses. You have organizations that are running around declaring people terrorists if they don't agree with them. That's called attempted murder. You have many websites with names on them. They're declaring them sovereign citizen domestic terrorists. They get a hold of the term, they go around there, start using it, they get nabbed for freaking attempted murder. Because that's what it is. There are no citizens, folks. There's only inhabitants. According to the law of the land, that's section 213 of the law of nations. We've read it before. They're only inhabitants. And you have nationals. There's only two statuses there. You have some residents that are deciding whether they want to be a national or an inhabitant. But that's the way it works. It's even written in the original Articles of Confederation, talking about citizens of the several states and inhabitants. It's in Article 4 if you want to go look it up. So you've got, these are the boundaries that people are not looking at because they think that they're on social media, they're sitting there behind their desk and they're sitting on a computer. They think they can say whatever they want and do whatever they want, which is not free speech at all. There comes a responsibility with that and an obligation to state what you're stating is accurate. We do it all the time. Whatever we state here is accurate. We prove it. Every single time. The southern border should be in the hands of the post office. A consistent body. A general post office. Consistent body, and it is. With a reciprocity with the military. In case it needs to be taken care of. Not in the hands of 527 organizations or political parties that have hijacked offices. That's what's going on. That's illegal to do that. If you have an accusation, come up with an affidavit or come up with your proof. With someone that has a code of ethics that everything is stated is true. Absolutely true. Now, I told you, I was going to show you, and there was another guy that was actually doing this. This came across into the committee. I'm sorry, I cannot remember the guy's name. I'm really sorry about that. If I get a chance, I'll put his name out there. Came up with a brilliant idea. All right, guys, here you go. In any court case, very easy. Bring in a copy of the U.S. Constitution and the state constitution wherein the case is. Bring in a copy of it. Then put it on there and say, I want my constitutional rights. Watch the judge freak the hell out. There's no way in hell that's going to happen. Blah, blah, blah. Get that Constitution out of here. Okay. State Constitution, you're going to say same thing, Judge? Get that out of here? I don't have any rights there and I'm going to party to it? That's right. Then how in the hell are your statutes apply to me that were created under both of those constitutions? Or were they? No legislative jurisdiction, folks. Period. No social compact to that created that Constitution in the first place. You're not a signatory to it. So how in the hell are you subject to the statutes of it? Unless you're an inhabitant. That means you're a foreigner. So then it turns into a civil case. You denied me a nationality. It's called a catch-22. I wasn't able to sign any social compact. I wasn't able to be a part of any government. And you made me stateless. It doesn't matter what the subject matter of the case is. Then you go to international law and you broke up families. When you took my children, you broke up a family. Very simple. You're outside of the whole thing. So those within a social compact, I don't even know if there is one, by the way, because I haven't seen any of them. There's only the ones that we see and the ones that we've published, because social compacts have to be published. Secret societies can't create social compacts and then not tell anybody what the terms and conditions of the social compact is. They have to publish it in order to be valid. So therefore, anything a secret society creates is worthless. There's nothing there. So everything falls back on the government of the United States of America as today, as it pertains to the law of nations, and the 15 national governments that are in place. That's how it works. Now, whether you've got a little issue with that, or whether you have a problem with that, or whatever, it doesn't matter, because it had to be done. The only way to solve that little twinge of envy and jealousy before you start having an impulse control problem and running your mouth is go do a resident declaration and sign a social compact and get into your states, of which the government of the United States of America has no say on what happens in those states when you're a part of the social compact. So there's no dictatorship here. So you've been listening to some people that screwed up horribly and then started their little rhetoric, lying to everybody to try to save some face. That's what you have going on right now. So anybody claiming, you see anything out there that says anybody claiming that the United States of America or the government of the United States of America is a corporation with the general postmasters in this government, they're lying. They have no say in that, and they're trespassing. They're trying to keep you into something. They're hijacking you. They're keeping you away from a nationality. So what? Oh, so they don't lose their donations and their business because they made a business out of it. There was a time, John, when was it? About 2 years ago, that we weren't getting paid to do any of this, right?
That's right.
We were doing it all voluntarily.
Yeah, and upkeeping all the websites and the domains and everything else out of our own personal pockets.
Yep. You'd ask for some kind of donation to do this and do that. Very rare. It's coming from the same people. Very rarely that happen. So we had to go towards charging to take the vendors, because the vendors were charging so much, and USD they weren't taking because they couldn't get supplies with the continental dollar. So we had to set things up the way it is today, in order for the people that were actually doing it that weren't starving to death. And that's exactly what was happening. It's called slavery. Believe me, I don't want to have to deal with USD. I would love to have continental dollars every single day. But the people that we are bringing into the States of the Union aren't producing anything. There's no products there. There's no nothing. They're not producing anything. Most of them are consumers. They just want to be able to go to the store and buy stuff.
And who's blocking the U.S. Continental dollar?
Private bankers.
That's right. The same people that's hijacked all the offices up there.
Mm-hmm. It all ends up going right back to them every single time,
Yep, that it does.
which goes all the way back to the City of London and the Rothschilds,
Yep.
because they're running all the finances for the three city state tripartite.
And they're also denying anybody else to open up a lawful money system so that they don't have, they're, well, they're being forced everybody to use their system,
Yes,
and denying them any rights whatsoever or any way to open any other system.
but that always turns into our fault, doesn't it, John?
It has so far.
Yeah, it always blame the guy who's not doing it and protect the guy who is.
That's right. And then when we say something about it, like we're doing right now, then they come back and say, "Oh, you're just dictators."
Uh-huh.
Yep.
We're not the dictators. We're the ones that are trying to get you a national currency and get it delivered to you. We're not the dictators.
Trying to get you a nationality to go with it,
Yeah,
so
and
you can use it.
the dictator, meaning the Rothschilds and all the bankers, are the ones that are hijacking you from being able to use it.
Yep.
And with our voucher system, the country can have an economic recovery with no debt whatsoever within 5 years. That's absolutely true.
And the continental dollars we got out there, somebody has to produce an hour's labor to make it legal, because it is labor backed, and the labor has to be performed before the printing of the dollar bills.
Right. We've got one classified as it's a part of the in-kun account. The other one's classified as labor backed.
That's correct.
We got two different
Yep.
classifications there with the same dollar, by the way.
Yep.
To do the best we can do to help. So if you're sitting there starving to death, it's not this government's fault. It's not the government of the United States of America's fault. It's not my fault. It's not John's fault. It's the bankers' fault. They're the ones that are doing it. Go blame them. Stop blaming the people that are doing their work every day trying to help. I put in at least 6-7 hours a day getting paid in Continentals that I can't spend anywhere right now because the bankers are hijacking it. And doing that every single day.
And that's been for the last 10 years too.
Yeah, emails, getting people through, doing resident declarations, all this other stuff.
And no compensation is usable.
Right. So I got a double job.
Yep.
No compensation, all that. And then get attacked on top of that. Oh, he's a fraud. He's a this, he's a liar. Well, prove that I'm lying. Prove I'm a fraud. Don't just say it. You know how many different forms of fraud there is? Prove it. If you can't prove it, that's called slander. Defamation of character. That's a legal liability. Prove it. Until then, deal with the legal liability. Because soon you will have to. If you don't understand something, it is prudent for you to shut the hell up until you do understand it, because the people that have come through, that have gone through all of the T-ROH shows, fully get what's going on. And we never hear from them to say that John's a fraud, or I'm a fraud, or Tom's a fraud, or somebody else is a fraud. They're not, no claims against us whatsoever. Because those are the people that understand what's going on. The ones that do not, open their freaking mouths and create liabilities for themselves. That's exactly what's going on. Or we get people that say, oh, I bought this 6 months ago and I haven't heard anything. Well, I don't know. It could be the fact that you sent a selfie for the picture and you were told that the selfie was not good enough for a ID with all their furniture in the background and pictures on the walls. Guarantee that's what they do to get an ID card. You email them back, they wait 6 months, not say a word, wait 6 months, and then start yelling, I bought this 6 months ago and you guys are not giving us this. Well, it's because you sent a freaking selfie. We had one lady that sent us a selfie with so much cleavage you couldn't believe it. The whole 3/4 of the picture was cleavage. That's not a photo ID card picture. That happens, folks, almost every other day. We can't put that crap on ID cards. We can't put selfies that are in cars on ID cards.
And your poodle and your kitty cat don't help it either.
Yeah. Dogs on the bed. Cats up on the freaking furniture. We literally get people sending us ID card pictures within their freaking car.
Mama holding the baby.
Yes. One guy had his daughter right there next to his face.
Yep.
And then they go all over the internet and say, those guys rip us off. No. You just can't send that kind of selfie crap for ID cards.
We can't do anything unless it's legitimate, legal, and according to specifications. If you have any questions about what kind of picture to send, look at your de facto driver's license. That's the kind of picture we need for IDs.
That's is exactly what's going on. We even send, there's a website. We send a link to a website to what kind of ID picture they need. You can go to Walgreens and get a passport photo. You can go anywhere, but a selfie in a car, no. That's not going to work with sunglasses on and a freaking hat. That's not going to work. Cleavage pictures is not going to cut it. Cats and animals and crap in the background, not going to cut it. And how many of those people, John, have said, I paid for it 6 months ago, I still hadn't got it? All over the internet, they're saying that. So it makes it appear as if they're being ripped off.
Yes, they are.
And they're not being ripped off.
Yeah, and they come back up there, they got a problem with the paperwork not filled out right. Everything else, they never correct it, they never send it back, and then they start bitching and hollering. But
6 to 8 months later.
That's right.
And start accusing. That's what's going on in the background, folks. They start bitching, complaining, and telling everybody, well, they don't give you what you pay for. We have never stolen a damn thing in our lives. Nobody has. We got one case, and we've got 7 pages of evidence, and that's not even 10% of the evidence that we have against this individual that has been lying all over the internet. Lying about everything. We had one guy come in. I'm just going to tell you a little bit what's going on in the background because people need to know this stuff. One guy came in. Oh, the temporary ID wasn't good enough for him. So what did he do? Oh, I want to take over all the IDs. Yeah, right. Yeah, we're going to let you do that. You've been here a week. And we're going to let you have everybody's personal information and everything. No way in hell. Then got all butthurt about it, and then all of a sudden everything was a fraud. They're a fraud. They're this. They're a trust. They're this. They're that. They're lying to everybody. No. Because the people who signed the social compact, they define it. You don't have the right to define it. So shut the hell up. You're just slandering. That's all you're doing. We've had this happen over and over, which what I call the crazies, the crazy inhabitants. They say, oh, I didn't get the email. They were emailed twice. We have proof. Emailed twice and they got it. I didn't get the email. You're lying. You did get the email. You just didn't check it. You missed it. So in order to transfer the liability, like everybody does in Walmart, right? Everybody goes to Walmart and tries to give things back. All of a sudden, it's always Walmart's fault. So Walmart just eats it. That's what they're used to. They're used to being consumers. And they're used to being able to bitch, complain, and they're always right. That doesn't work here because we have evidence of everything. So you people that are out there lying, you're liars. You're lying. That's just bottom line.
And by law, we have to keep everything.
Yes, we do.
That you have to have a complete and factual list of everything that happens within the government. This is not my regulations. This is not me saying it. It's the law of nations saying it. And some of the other laws out there that have been there for how many hundreds of years.
We take it extremely serious on your paperwork and everything that you do. We take it really serious. We don't. I got 11 gig of freaking emails. Just with this, that, and the other thing. Everything's put in files, folders, all that kind of stuff. That's just one. We've got a bunch of them like that. So keep in mind, guys, that when you want to send those selfies and you want to start lying, we've got all the evidence that says you're lying. Every bit of it. Oh, I never got an email. We got evidence the emails were sent. We have evidence you're lying. But what you're really doing is you're hijacking everybody else. Those people that do understand what's going on and do like what's going on and they want to be a part of it, you're hijacking them by lying. You're gonna that's called what comes around goes around. Nature's law. What comes around goes around, man. No self-responsibility whatsoever. If you're not lying, we will tell you. Yeah, you're right. We did that. That fell through the cracks. Sorry about that. We'll make sure it gets done. We're not all perfect.
Yeah, some of those people are saying that, well, I didn't get an email. But yet in the next line down, that's where they answered that email.
Yeah.
And then they go, you say something else and send them another email. They'll respond to that one and come back a week later. Well, I never got an email.
Yeah. They do that all the time.
Regular, like clockwork.
All you got to do is talk to our registrar. She has all the evidence of everything that is sent, everything that's done. Extremely meticulous. Okay, so we're telling everybody this so that if you thought you want to do a resident declaration, but some jackwit came in and said, "Oh, they don't give you the IDs, they don't give you this, they don't give you that." The only time IDs are not sent out is when we get selfies, blurry pictures, hats on, glasses, all this kind of crap. We tell them, you need to change this or fix this. They wait 3 months, come back and say, "Where's my ID? You guys ripped me off. I want a refund." That's exactly what happens. We have proof of everything I'm saying. Meticulous proof. We've talked about this in the National Assembly to 80 people. We've talked about this in the ANU. We finally just transferred all the driver's license stuff over to the ANU because we kept getting this going on for 2 years. We said, look, we're doing this as a service. We don't necessarily have to. Let's transfer it because it's really supposed to be for general postmasters. Let's transfer this over to the ANU for driver's licenses and stuff like that. They're still having a hard time. Wait till they get it. Once they get theirs going, and they've been working on it for the last couple of weeks. We've been pushing them to do it. They're going to get the same exact thing. And then guess what's going to happen, folks? Within 6 months to a year, ANU does not give you what you pay for. They're a ripoff and they're a fraud. Because they're going to be getting selfies. They're going to be giving emails back. They're going to be doing all that stuff. And the same thing's going to happen to them. So once somebody starts claiming that crap, ask them a few questions. What'd you send them? Where's the picture that you sent them? Guaranteed it's in a car. Did they tell you needed a passport photo? Yeah. Did they give you the links? Yes. And you didn't do it. 3 months later, all of a sudden you wake up and go, wait a minute, where's my ID? Well, you should have fixed it. A selfie in a car, the second somebody's going to look at that ID card, see a selfie in the car, this is fraud, and flip it back at you. This is a fraudulent ID.
Yep. Pictures on IDs in the county up there. When you go get a driver's license, how many times have you seen them retake a picture 2 or 3 times to get it correct? And they've got everything set up in the house to do it.
Yeah.
And they don't allow you to have no dogs, no kids, all this kind of stuff.
Furniture, cars.
That's right.
And all this crap sitting in the background. We had one lady say, we told her 3 times. I said, look, you need to come up with this kind of picture right here. She goes, oh, just forget it. I don't want it anyways. Whatever. Give my money back. It's like, okay. Have a good day. There's your money. Have a good day. Bye. That's the kind of stuff you deal with. Consider the source. If someone has a question, someone makes a claim or whatever, that the government of the United States of America is a corporation, why don't you come to the people that signed on the dotted line and ask them? They're the ones that define it, not the guy who's claiming it or the woman who's claiming it. Just remember that. And we know that the information that we put out, we get this. We expect a little backlash from the people that are charging for what they do. They charge for paperwork. They charge for all this kind of crap. We expect that because the information we put out basically puts them out of business because it shows all the flaws in what they're doing. We get that. We understand it. So we expect a little bit back from them. They're all upset and pissed off, and they lost a bunch of face. They lost they get it. We get that. But it's gone way too far, and way over the line. To some people doing personal threats, all that kind of thing, don't do that. Just don't do it. Because then you are basically classified as the criminal that the de facto thinks you are. And you prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. You go way too far. You got a complaint? Let's see the affidavit. If you're not willing to put it on an affidavit, keep your mouth shut. And guaranteed, you better be right in the affidavit. But you don't want to put yourself on that line, do you? Because you know what you're doing is you're lying. You get it. We get it. Thanks for listening to the 128th broadcast of the T-ROH Show. We hope that this opens up some eyes on some people that are willing to do a resident declaration and willing to claim a nationality and take responsibility of a country. We hope that happens. It doesn't fill our pockets. We're not getting rich over here, believe me. We're eating. That's it. And we're going to consistently push the international bankers and the bankers towards a national currency. Stop blaming us and start going and blaming the people that are actually doing it. We're supposedly on your side. Okay? We're actually here helping you. Why would you go after somebody that is actually trying to help you? That doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you join with them and go after the people that are actually stopping you from having a national currency and prospering? Want to keep you poor, so you'll vote in their party when they promise you stuff. And when I say supposedly, I mean absolutely. We're on your side, but you keep attacking the wrong people. You're helping the criminal attack the people that are trying to help you. Happens all the time, and you don't have much time left. Just letting y'all know. Thanks for listening to the 128th broadcast of the T-ROH Show. We'll see you next week.